give you the mighty Van Halen!
Oh, look at all the people here tonight!
It is now officially 51-59!
You ever speak to me like that again, better be wearing a cup.
Baby steps.
One break, I'm in up!
Okay, Brent, let's everybody take your positions, please. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rolling. Dave!
And
Dave!
Unchained!
welcome to Dave and Dave Unchained, a Van Halen podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And this is episode number 38, Dave, and we are into the month of February. Happy birthday to you, my friend.
And happy birthday to you, sir.
And thank you very much. Dave and I celebrate our birthdays 3 days apart. Dave is born on Valentine's Day because he's a lover, and I am born 3 days later. So that is nice, and we are celebrating our birthdays in the same month as we always do. We're here to come to you guys with some special Van Halen news.
Van Halen.
News!
Oh, so we've got a news bumper now.
That's right. We are getting high-tech, Dave, and we are entering into the 21st century finally and giving we're sprucing up. We're sprucing up. Hopefully we're putting all kinds of bells and whistles, getting prepared for this so-called reunion.
Wow, I'm telling you, this place is highfalutin now.
That's right. That's right. And we are going to crank it up because, well, first of all, Dave and I spoke on the January podcast about Michael Anthony's appearance at NAMM. But we want to clarify a few things because there was some misreporting on behalf of the notes that we got from other places of what he said. Mike never said, I can't say anything, or I'm not allowed to say anything. He didn't say anything like that. So Michael Anthony officially came out on the Groove No Treble podcast, and he did an interview on there, and one of the first items that he addressed right out of the bat was the whole Van Halen Rumors situation. So they asked him casually, any summer plans? And he took it in stride. He said, well, I'm finishing an album with Sam. It's going to be coming out in May, and we have a 3-month tour that we're going to do, roughly. And then they were like, any other summer plans? and he said, and this is exactly his quote, you expect me to say something? You expect me to give you an answer? I can't say anything either way on that. And he was referring to the Van Halen proposed reunion, or it's a question mark at this point. Now, they asked him, have you spoken to any of the guys? And he re-mentioned what he talked. I had a little talk with Alex about 3 years ago. We talked about that on the podcast, how he had some sort of small talk with Alex through one of his friends, and just a hi, how you doing? He said, but then he says, that's all I'm going to say about it. And then the guy said, he didn't say no, and that's a good sign.
What are my chances?
Not good.
You mean not good like 1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of 1,000,000.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
So there was some sort of like tipping in the toe. He seemed like he was hiding something there. And that was a little kind of sketchy, didn't you think?
Yeah, because if he wasn't doing anything, he just would have been like, guys, I'm not playing with them. It's not happening. Don't ask me anymore.
Right.
But he didn't say that.
No, he didn't say that. He sort of was like meandering. Okay. So then Mike goes, and at the same place at NAMM, he does an interview with Vegas Rocks magazine. He does an interview with this lady called Sally Steele, and she's at NAMM, and he says, I'm always a never say never guy, but at this point, I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I'm having a great time, and if something happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't at this point. So, I mean, this is like in the same time. I mean, he's both at NAMM. What do you make of his comments there, Dave?
Well, that's his standard answer.
No, I know, but why hide that answer in the first interview?
Because he doesn't have an answer. Because he really he doesn't. He doesn't have an answer. He doesn't want to give away anything. He doesn't want to say, because it's all very up in the air, right? I mean, the brothers could change their mind at any second, and who knows if there's even anything to change their mind. Maybe he's in the middle of a negotiation, and if he says something, they're going to be like, oh, there you go, shoot your mouth off again. You know we don't like to talk out of school, so forget the whole thing. So
I know.
So who knows? So like I said the last time, he is trying to strike a balance between being fan-friendly and being honest and not blowing his shot of playing with the band and playing for the fans one more time. I think that's really what it boils down to.
Then on Facebook, this rumor comes out from this guy, and his name is Thomas BMYR. Now, I think that's some sort of abbreviated version of a long last name, but he was on Facebook, and he gets into this whole thing about he's an employee of Warner Chappell, and he has these exciting details that he's going to unveil on Facebook, of all places, right? And then he says that an official announcement is coming very soon. And here's the statement that the guy said. He said, I'm going to read it directly to you. Van Halen will be touring in 2019. As you know, I work at Warner, and we have, by being the label of many incredible artists, information from their management. An official announcement is coming very soon. But here's what you need to know to clarify the rumors of recent months, including the return, more or less awkwardly announced by David Lee Roth. This is not a tour itself, but 6 dates in American stadiums during the summer to come. The band will be going to Las Vegas for 5 additional dates in December. It's not a farewell tour. The lineup is the same as last year's: Eddie, Alex, Wolfie, and David. However, to answer the rumors of reformation of the original lineup, yes, Michael Anthony will be of the part, but it will only be appearances at each concert, featuring a given moment where he'll come out on stage with his Jack Daniels bass, do his famous bass solo before playing Somebody Get Me a Doctor, which he will sing himself, as he did in 1998 and 2004. And then he says, I don't know if Wolfie will be on stage at that time. Then he also said, since Mikey is not allowed to talk about this project, no interviews will be granted. No one wants to justify the war against Hagar and Anthony and this unexpected return. It seems that this is a big financial and legal history. Now, this is where it gets really weird. He says last year, Van Halen wanted to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the first album by re-recording the first album, but with Wolfie on bass. Anthony was opposed to this, not out of revenge of his ouster, but for the fans. And then this generated some sort of legal financial battle, which gave rise to this project. Van Halen featuring Michael Anthony for dates in a stadium and Vegas. There will be no new album or compilation coming soon. Sammy Hagar is not part of the project. Mike had the idea to include Sam, but the other 2 parts did not agree. And then he also said that he was the guy who posted the visuals with the planes. Remember last year, that poster, Dave? That teaser poster about Van Halen with the planes? Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that poster, that teaser poster. He said that those were prototypes for an abandoned 2018 tour. And he thought it was funny how it went around the net. And he said the official announcement arrives either at the end of February or the beginning of March. Now, this is really something else what do you make of this?
I think he's full of crap.
You think the whole thing is a sham?
I do, because when something like this breaks, I go to VH Links.
Right.
Because it's usually there first, and those guys usually have a decent pulse on what's going on.
Right.
And anybody who commented on it was like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
This is caca. And somebody pointed out, you're telling me Mike is going to come out, do a solo,
right,
then sing a song,
right,
then come off stage. You're telling me the original lineup is together and Dave isn't singing a song? Right?
It makes no sense. And
right?
Yeah.
So the whole thing is, I mean, it's logical, it's
Right.
possible, which is how you build a good rumor. But I mean, come on, it's wishful thinking. I think it's clickbait. Apparently, this guy's Facebook page, I don't even know if it's still there anymore. Somebody said they went looking it up and they can't find it now. So, it's kind of like
he was never seen again.
he's never seen it again. Right. Yeah, that would be the funny part, is that he actually had some credible Van Halen knowledge. Wiped off the face of the planet, never to be seen again, right? So the whole thing is, the whole thing is wishful, and the whole re-recording the first album.
That's crazy.
Like, what is that?
I think that's the tip-off to show you how fake it is.
Well, that you got to really be vengeful and spiteful, right? I mean, you got to really hate Mike to a whole new level, to do that. When meanwhile, I mean, that doesn't mean like the rest of the band wasn't like rehearsing songs from the first album, right? I mean, that's entirely possible.
Of course.
But, we're so hungry for stuff. We'd like to believe that, this guy's got a credible lead going on. But, as usual, I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Well, I tell you, this is what tipped it off for me. Why would they go through all this trouble to bring Mike in for a bass solo and for him to sing somebody? Why do we need Mike to sing Somebody Get Me a Doctor when Dave is there? Now, Mike could do it on the 1998 tour because Gary's there and it's a fun thing. He could do it on the 2004 tour because Sammy doesn't want to sing it. But if Dave is there, why the hell is Mike singing Somebody Get Me a Doctor?
Right. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Also, look, I love Mike very, very much, and I think he's such a huge contribution with Van Halen, but why would they go through all the trouble to bring him on for, like, a taste? And that's just going to piss the fans off even more.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo. And you're telling me that suddenly by Mike coming out for a song or two, that's going to be the one thing that pushes them to a stadium-level band?
No.
I mean, right?
No.
I mean, no disrespect to Mike, but that's not happening.
Yeah, and listen, as much as I love Van Halen, like I said on the last cast, if you're really going to do a stadium run, you got to go full guns a-blazing. You know what you have to do? And I didn't say this on the last cast, but I'm going to say it here. And I'll tell you one thing that has become a new thing, Dave, in the concert industry. People like guaranteed set lists now. This has become a new thing. They don't want to take a chance, spend the money. I mean, it's a lot of money to go to a show. It's time and effort. You have to kill yourself to get these tickets, number one. Number two, you got to go through, pay fees to Ticketmaster and all these extra charges. You got to pay for parking. It's a hassle. It's become a hassle to go to a show. So now if you're going to go through all those hoops, it's got to be worth it. People want to know what the set list is ahead of time. Like when, for example, U2 did that huge Joshua Tree tour, and that was tremendously successful. But the reason it was tremendously successful in the summer of 2017, they were celebrating the 30th anniversary of Joshua Tree. They were selling all Joshua Tree merch. They had a Joshua Tree set. They did the entire album top to bottom. It's nostalgia. People go crazy for that. People who went to the original 1984 tour would go to a 1984 35th anniversary concert. The people who couldn't go, like you and I, we would die to go see that. And they would have the same setup with the same merch, with the same set. I mean, the whole thing. That's what would draw people. And to bring Mike back into the fold, you need to really drum it up if you're going to do it the right way. Now, if you're going to half-ass it, I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. And they're going to bang out stadiums, and then they're going to go do a Vegas run? That was so strange. Since when does Van Halen do Vegas runs? Now everybody's doing these damn Vegas runs. Fucking Billy Idol has got a residency. Lady Gaga's got a residency. Everybody and his brother's got a fucking residency at goddamn Las Vegas. I don't see Van Halen as that type. I mean, Dave, yeah, I can see Dave doing that, but I don't see Van Halen doing that. Now, the re-recording of the first album, who would re-record their own classic? That is
Ozzy Osbourne.